Hello everyone and welcome back to Vlogtober day 6, 7? I'm Angie Indie Dyer and General Mess. I meant to record a bit more earlier today. I was doing some yarn dyeing, but there was like incessant noise outside all day between like leaf blowers and like a saw. I don't even know what they were doing. Very loud saw and some various other things. So I kind of just gave up after my third or fourth attempt to talk about yarn dyeing as I was filming, so maybe I'll just reuse that, because I still videoed it, my voice is just drowned out by noise and then me swearing at the noise. So maybe I'll just keep that and I will just overlay it with some music for another video on another day. Anyway, it's going to be kind of a short one tonight. I know I say that every night and then I yammer at you for like 15 minutes anyway, but for real it's going to be a bit of a short one tonight. Because I have dinner waiting inside and I'm very hungry. And I couldn't film after dinner because the sun's going down. I wanted to show you some new mini skeins. So basically, I managed to get my hands on some new mini skeins. These are the yak sock base, so it's a blend of merino wool and yak and nylon. And I've carried the full-size skeins for, I don't know, for a while now, at least a couple of years. And so I managed to get my hands on some mini skeins of that yak sock. Can I just say, I really love how yak takes on color. So I dyed these with some of my neon shades that I use for the neon semi-solids. But as you can see, obviously it's not really neon, right? I mean, it's vibrant and it's beautiful, but it's not neon, and that's because the yak sock is kind of a gray-ish base originally. So I just kind of wanted to show you maybe what the little gradient's gonna look like. So I'm just gonna quickly twist this up while I chat with you all. So here's the first color. So this would be Sugar Rush, if we're talking about comparisons with other shades. That would be Sugar Rush. This next one, I don't think I actually have as a semi-solid. I have a similar orange, but it's not the same dye. So I actually did dye some yarn with this very vibrant orange. And I'm gonna go ahead and call it Jack-o'-lantern because it's spooky season. Go ahead and stop me, you can't. So that's it's not dry yet, it's inside. So I'm actually gonna call this Jack-o'-lantern. But I really love how the yak takes on, like, look, the camera doesn't like it so much because it's so, like, there is still a vibrancy to it that I can't quite explain, and it is kind of annoying to photograph sometimes. So there's the first two. Next up we have the neon yellow. So the neon yellow is, I think, called High Voltage. It is. But on yak, it almost looks green. Or it does look green. It's like a really weirdly vibrant green. I actually really super love how the High Voltage colorway looks on yak. And yeah, it's pretty tasty, I think. So, just get a piece of fluff out of there. So this is the High Voltage. So there's 3. Next up we have this very bright green, and I'm struggling to remember what this green is called as a semi-solid. I don't think I have this green as a semi-solid. I used it as part of the Burned Rainbow series, but that's not by itself. That had a burned, or what I call like a burn. I don't know what you really call it because it doesn't. I haven't really seen that technique described elsewhere, and I don't even know how I would describe it myself. But it was used as one of the base colors for Luminous Lime. So here we go, we're getting into it. So that's the first 4. So this set will have 7, so like a full rainbow, kind of. I know there's going to be some purists that are about to be annoyed with me because instead of having blue and indigo, I have 2 greens, which is kind of on brand for me given my super love of greens, but also because there's not really a good way to have sort of neon-y blues, and there's like not really a neon indigo. Do you know what I mean? So again with this one, this was used in the colorway for Scintillating Seaweed, but that it wasn't by itself on that. So I know some people are like, it's not a real rainbow, and like, well, I guess it's not technically, but it still makes quite a nice, you know, it's still nice. So this is Sunken Song if you're looking at the neon semi-solids. So it's gonna be our blue. And then the last one, if you're looking at the neon semi-solids, this is Omnomberry, which is one of my favorite colors and also one of the most irritating to dye. This particular dye is kind of like well known in the indie dyer community for being the bane of everyone's existence. It doesn't like to exhaust. It's kind of a pain to work with. It's a little unpredictable if you're, you know, if you were using hard water and you start using soft water, like weird things can happen. So, but I still love it. It's my problematic fave. So that's what that set is going to look like, and that's on the Yak. That's on the Yak minis. I'm also going to dye this set onto some BFL minis, which are also brand new, the BFL minis. But A, I haven't done it yet, and B, it's going to look wildly and vastly different because obviously those bright neon shades were dyed over a grayish natural base, whereas the BFL is much lighter in tone and more of like a natural color. Well, this is a natural color, you know what I mean, more like what people would call natural in terms of, well, it's not like a super bright white, it's kind of just like an off-white. So anyway, I haven't decided what I'm going to call these sets quite yet. I have some other similar sets, but there's none that are like quite the same. So I'm probably going to come up with a new name for it. I'm hopeful that I will get those in the shop this week. If I get those BFL ones dyed, I'll show you those. If you're watching this thinking, I don't know what the hell to do with mini skeins, well, obviously a big gradient set like this you could do, because this is, see, there's 7, so it's 140 grams in one of the 7 mini skein sets. So obviously with that you could do, I don't know, a bit more than you would do with a full-size skein, really. You know, you could use them in a bigger project to stripe it in. You could do whatever you want, really. If you only have one mini skein or you want to use them separately, a mini skein is usually enough for if you're going to do contrasting toes and heels on a pair of socks. You can use a mini skein for that. There's lots of little projects that you can use mini skeins for, especially as people are starting to think a bit more, you know, towards, you know, Christmas, if you celebrate that, you know, people making cute little ornaments out of like sparkly mini skeins, and there's like tons of patterns now that you can find where designers, knowing people's love of mini skeins, have created patterns specifically for mini skeins. And the one that's coming to my mind at the forefront is, it's called the Cat Vent Cowl by Anketin Beg, who made that, I think that was last year. Specifically for mini skeins, but obviously you could use it for if you just had like a bunch of random minis hanging around. Anyway, as I said, it's going to be a short one, and as predicted, I still talked to you for almost 10 minutes. So I'm going to go twist the rest of these up. By the way, this is how we're sending these now, because I think it looks nicer. I'm sorry if you don't agree. I think it looks nicer. I will see you all tomorrow.